Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the February 10th Planning Board, Apex Planning Board meeting. We will take a moment for silence. If we could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Diane, do we have any items of, there you go. Items of information for Diane. Thank you.
So we wanted to let you know that Ben Howell, the Wake Transit Program Manager with the Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, will deliver a presentation about the update to the 2035 Wake Transit Plan that's currently underway. And so if you'd like to hear that, you can tune into the Town Council meeting tomorrow night, February 11th at 6 o'clock. And then we wanted to remind you the Apex Mobility Hub Open House has been scheduled for February 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. The presentations will be delivered at 4:15 and 5:15. They're the same, so you don't have to attend both. We encourage you to attend. Again, Salem Room, Apex Senior Center, 63 Hunter Street. And this will be for the NCDOT and Town of Apex to share concepts about a future mobility hub planned along the S-Line Railroad corridor. And the location is on Salem Street, close to Moore Street.
Thank you. All right, next is the public comment period. Anyone who is here to speak on behalf of public comment, please sign up. All right, I'm going to close public comment. I do not think that we have any comments. And then move to item number 1 on our consent agenda, approval of the minutes from January 13th. I assume everyone had a moment to review the minutes and would love a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Motion and the second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next we'll move on to public hearing, and Joshua, you're going to present for CZ 24Z21. I did not read that correctly.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Joshua Killian here to present rezoning case 24CZ21, 3028 Evans Road. This rezoning is located along the west side of Evans Road, just north of Hume Olive Road. The property is only 0.76 acres and is currently vacant. The current zoning of the property is rural residential. The land to the south, west, and north are all a continuation of the rural residential zoning district. And the zoning to the east across Evans Road is planning and development conditional zoning. And there are approved subdivision plans for townhomes on those properties as part of the Friendship Village development. The applicant is proposing to rezone this parcel to medium density conditional zoning. Many of the standard architectural zoning conditions that we find in residential developments are being provided within this rezoning case, along with the limitation of 1 driveway from Evans Road and a maximum of 2 lots should this property be subdivided. The applicant did hold 2 neighborhood meetings, the first on November 21st and the second on January 21st of 2025 and 24. The rezoning case was exempt from meeting with the Environmental Advisory Board per the UDO, and the Apex housing staff did not make a recommendation for affordable units since this development cannot yield at least 20 residential units. A Wake County Public Schools letter of impact was received for this rezoning and indicates that middle school grade levels within the current assignment area are anticipated to have insufficient capacity for future students. Transportation to schools outside of the current assignment area should be anticipated, but school reassignment within the next 5 years may address concerns at the middle school grade level. The 2045 land use map identifies this parcel as medium density residential, and the proposed rezoning is consistent with that land use class. Planning staff's recommendation is for approval of this rezoning with an additional condition. That condition is that the applicant or developer shall install or provide a fee in lieu for installation of an additional 5 feet in width to the existing sidewalk that's located here along the frontage of the parent parcel along Evans Road prior to plat. The resulting improvement will be consistent with the 10-foot side path that is designated on the Apex Bicycle and Pedestrian System Plan. Due to the size of this parcel, if it is subdivided, it would be exempt from the Town of Apex's subdivision ordinance. The proposed rezoning is reasonable in the public interest, as the conditions will allow the property to develop in a manner that is consistent with the residential character of the area and limits the site to one driveway on Evans Road, which is designated as a minor collector street. I am here for questions, and the applicant is also here, signed up to speak.
Any questions for Joshua?
I've got questions for Joshua. Great presentation, by the way. But I'd kind of like to hold off until we hear from that.
Thank you. I have to formally open public hearing, so I'll do that. Formally opening public hearing. Ms. Vega, I don't think you've been here in a little while. I don't recall seeing you, but we have a new way that we do public hearings and allow the applicant to speak, and that is to encourage you to limit your time and to focus on. I really appreciate staff's presentation, to really focus on anything that staff didn't highlight. We want to try to prevent duplications, and then we also then open it up to the board for discussion, and usually there's a bit of a back and forth. So I appreciate you with that. So Brendy Vega.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Sherman and members of the Planning Board. My name is Brendy Vega. I'm with Withers Ravenel, here representing Reverend Alonzo Wilson of ATM Development. As you heard from staff, the reason for this request is to rezone to medium density. A little bit about the Reverend. Mr. Wilson is a lifelong member of APEX. He is also a founding member of the White Oak Foundation, which started in 1998 and serves as their development and construction manager. For those of you who are not familiar with the White Oak Foundation, the organization provides housing to low to moderate income families and individuals. Reverend Wilson has also taken upon himself to help others in the community to navigate through the complex development process through his LLC, ATM Development. Through the White Oak Foundation and ATM Development, housing units have been built around the Cary and Apex community, mostly to serve low and moderate income families. As some of you may know, this parcel is in the heart of the Friendship community, where many lifelong residents and landowners reside amongst those they have welcomed into the community. The parcel in front of you today is not just helping to provide 2 new homes in the Friendship community, but also assisting the original property owner build a home. Reverend Wilson's skills and experience are valuable to the residents who cannot navigate this process themselves. To address the question of the condition requested by staff to pay a fee in lieu for sidewalk, we are considering that request and the cost that it may add to the homes. Thank you for your time, and we appreciate your consideration of this rezoning request and available to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I hear there were questions. I will open the. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me close public hearing, and I will open it up for questions.
Sure. So, thank you, Madam Chair. You answered one of the questions, which I appreciate, and sounds like that the property may be subdivided to allow for 2 homes. Realizing that that's not locked in necessarily, but that what might be locked in are the permitted uses. family haircut or family care home, etc. The reason why that addresses one of my first questions was because understanding that it's currently RR, if the current entitlement for RR would allow someone to, why would we be rezoning to a similar zoning classification to allow for another home? So that answers that question, and that makes sense, and it sounds like it is consistent with the land use plan. So I was looking at the utility maps on this, and I see that there's water that extends down Evans at this point from the school complex, and there's sewer even up at Madison. There's water and sewer all throughout Madison, but there's no sewer right in here. And also since this lot is in the ETJ and not within the corporate limits, if this lot is to be subdivided into two lots, I presume, tell me if I'm wrong, that they would be too small to meet the requirements for either Wake County or for the town for a septic field. I might be wrong on that. And so if not, then would we be doing septic here? I realize we're getting beyond, we're even getting beyond site planning, but I feel like this is, part of our purview, part of our conversation, part of the responsibility we have to look into all the characteristics in the area. And so I'm just curious how we're going to handle sewer and whether or not there's a policy that the town has as to annexation for the extension of utility lines.
Just as a first note, the town of Apex does not have any standards for septic. Those are all handled through Wake County. So that's to answer the first question, but then Brittany's going to answer some of the design.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So currently there is a manhole in this corner here. I believe that's where it is. We have to get the intent is absolutely to connect to utilities. But we have to get a survey and see how we can get that line to this parcel. So for reference, these three parcels and this one are all owned in the same family. So this parcel, one of the original property owners here in the Friendship community wants to build a home on her parcel. So the intent is to bring in sewer and stub it to this property, and likely through Apex policies to stub to adjacent properties. So if it doesn't have to go too deep, or I'm not an engineer, but it can be stubbed to the adjacent properties.
Okay, thank you for that. So I guess maybe a follow-up question for the planning director, for Diane. Do we have a policy for water or sewer extensions and how that would relate to annexation?
They do have to. I'm sorry. I was going to answer for Diane, but yes, we will be annexing. Anytime you connect to utilities, you do have to annex. So that's the intent.
Perfect. Okay, good deal. Thank you.
Okay.
I've got a follow-up question after that.
Can I clarify real quick? Just as another point for process, the annexation will not occur typically until the construction plans are ready to be signed. That's how most developments go in the ETJ. They get their subdivision approval. This would be an exempt subdivision, so it would just be a plat, and then they would have to come in with their own annexation from there.
That's great. Super easy. Fantastic. Thank you, Josh.
For the property that's owned by the other family member, is that also going to serve, the driveway going to serve through the property that looks at rezoning to the property behind?
Well,
Is that going to be another shared driveway?
yeah, we have been exploring that. So right now we have a limit of one driveway, which would we've been asked to put it as far north as possible.
Mm.
This property owner is going to allow an access easement to serve this parcel here. I don't believe that Reverend Wilson has picked out house plans for these lots yet, but there was some talk about having them be rear loaded through an access. So that we're still open to that possibility. We still have to talk to staff about whether we can share the sewer easement and a driveway easement and how all that would work out, but that's something definitely we're exploring.
Okay. Do you foresee that property in the northwest quadrant being subdivided as well as a future annexation and then doing the same thing?
No,
Or-
right?
or we're subdividing that property as well.
Right now, the property owner, I believe she's interested in one home.
Yes.
Just one home. You know, if in the future, maybe one of her kids wants
Sure.
a home, then, you know, we can't predict what'll happen, but right now the intent is for one.
Additional questions?
No, I would make a motion to approve, as this is consistent with the 2045 plan, approved with the recommended conditions, and appreciate the efforts that the Reverend's doing in trying to provide additional housing in this area.
Thank you for that motion. Second?
I think all those who have questions today, I'll go ahead and second as well, since we asked the questions. I feel satisfied.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Flip my page. Rezoning case 24CZ21 is approved unanimously. All right, and since we have no new business, just one other motion.
Make a motion to adjourn?
All right, a second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you all.